Andelนี่ตินะมีปุยจิกพุดนักมุนอันบาซาร์นักมุนbusy ลุตุกป่วยลุตุกค่ะเว้นแล้วนู่นเว้นนี่ฉันเรียกเที่ยวไม่ Apple ตอนนี้ตัว iPhone ตัวเต้นไปหุดที่นั่นเนี่ยVictoria's Secret River Island next กันมาแต่แค่เข้ามา accessorize ครับมีอันเรทที่อามักซอกมาเนี่ยเฮ้ยแล้วหนูสุนแลนยังอดุมนั่นครับเฮ้ยขอชูอ่ะเฮียนนั่งแล้วอ่ะ Exchange Square เลย Manchester Cathedral ช่วงเลย Bond Garden นะสกรีนเลียนโตกินวุยนะโปรแกรมติดชวนเนี่ยตัวนี้ Exchange Square กันตัวมันเนี่ยอะไรเฮียนกินมันทยาหันดิวตี้อ่ะดิวตี้อันเอามาเนี่ยเฮ้อะไรก็ไม่ตัวนี้กันแข่งเต้ประกันสุขแน่นอนเนี่ย Exchange Square TV screen ที่เขาป้าเลียนอันเรทเฮียมากกันเนี่ยNational Anthem อันสำเร็จเนี่ยเนี่ยเนี่ยเราExchange Square ใช่ไหมได้หรอกเก้าเลยนั่นเหรอคุยแค่แนวดูกันแต่เราก็กันรู้ตั้งเนี่ยกะที่เรากันก็กลางหน้าลังไปไหนนะExchange Square Manchester ชัวร์เลย
God grants to the living grace, to the departed rest, to the Church, the King, the Commonwealth, and all people, peace and concord, and to us sinners, life everlasting. And the blessing of God Almighty, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, be among you and remain with you always.
Soon mail ครับ
bears a simply worded card from the king saying, "In loving and devoted memory, Charles R." The imperial state crown, the orb and sceptre, the emblems of majesty and earthly power, glinting and gleaming in the sunlight. The end of this state funeral service, the first to be held at the Abbey since 1760. So truly a day of history, and the funeral service of the longest reigning monarch in British history. The wreath itself, according to the King's wishes, containing flowers and foliage, kept from the gardens of Buckingham Palace, Clarence House and Highbury House.
Manchester Cathedral, Manchester biak in ropui ming thang em mai hanya achunga hale apya lama garden a lalnu Vuina program screen lian tawk in chhuah ale lama chhuah exchange square and chena exchange square atangin hela hi kan ron pana yang ke chung hian kan lut to a program zawatun hi Windsor Castle lam St George's Chapel han phum na tur pan pui meka bona kan suak to hi Cathedral moina kan clear me kan khwa atura pinu lalno British lalram to some sari zat lalno say khawvela history British history po lalthuthleng luah rei per zinga mi ya yan kala asun le yang he akele ratanga atui ken thleng hian atar mit thleng an dum fek mai ni le cathedral hi kan la kwal velang yo pui hem khop mai ming thanga moi boka wen zat su mi vai va nom lo het hian lal no su ne vui ni ani boka sala mga kalpay daw na moi khop mai he khawah atul mea aduai ka tina ui ruai mai he panal sai lo lang ui ruai ti lang deuh kha ni he khoi lama tang po hian ani la moi em vek mai ni mai le he apa hanal ve hlai nu hi helam gate Manchester Cathedral Ming Thang chu ni Manchester Cathedral nung lama garden aron kalani yan screen lian tawk
The Buckingham Arch, which is still officially classed as the main entrance to the estate, including St James's Palace and Buckingham Palace.
Choren tuan lo khat deuh thar maya anunga building pui hi ang lo ane football museum national football museum ane lang le to
And on to the familiar expanse of Horse Parade, where for decades Majesty has attended the birthday parade in early June, to mark her official birthday. For many, many years, of course, she would come on horseback. later times in a carriage, but devoted to the event itself. And procession makes its way onto the Mall. Consort, pointing out some of the elements of the procession to Prince George and Princess Charlotte, and the Princess of Wales looking on. Sussex and the Countess of Wessex. Princesses Beatrice and Eugenie. Just at the back of this section, behind the king, we caught a glimpse there we are. Duke of Sussex, the Princess Royal, and her husband, Vice Admiral Timothy Lawrence, Duke of York, Gloucester, Peter Felix. So many memories, those taking part in this procession from the royal family. And there we are, Queen Elizabeth, Queen Mother, died 20 years ago, and King George VI, who died a relatively young man in his 50s. In 1952, of course, meaning that the Queen came to the throne at the age of 25, And no question that King George VI was responsible for shaping this remarkable realm that we've seen over the past 70 years. Because Queen Elizabeth II has reigned very much within the parameters set for her by her father. Very close bond between them, as indeed there was between the Queen and her mother. Blues and Royals, followed by the drum horse and the state trumpeter, as they make their way gradually towards Wellington Arch and Hyde Park Corner. And there we have the Commonwealth Memorial Gates with the flames. We see the procession making its way towards this part of central London, which is near the gardens of Buckingham Palace, and what is normally a very busy section of Hyde Park Corner. Today it's solemn and silent with this funeral procession for the late Queen. The Honourable Artillery Company approaching, part of the great representation of the British Army in this procession. Flanking the Queen's coffin, on either side we have the bearer party from the Queen's Company, 1st Battalion Grenadier Guards, with the distinctive white plumes, the gentlemen-at-arms. Behind them, equally distinctive in their Tudor uniform, the yeomen of the guard. Great funeral marches, so familiar of course, by Mendelssohn and Beethoven and Chopin. This is the Royal Engineers, also in the procession. This is the scene at Wellington Arch, which stands right in the middle of Hyde Park Corner. The ancient home of the Duke of Wellington nearby, and Wellington Arch named because of that connection. At one stage, the arch was planned as the main entrance to Buckingham Palace, but as with Marble Arch, things were changed at a later date. And This is where we will have a gathering of thousands of members of the armed forces for this final part of the ceremony in London, where the Queen's coffin will be transferred from that gun carriage to the state hearse, which will be waiting to take the Queen home to Windsor. Prince of Wales standing tall, just behind his father the King, in the section of these young naval ratings. The yeomen of the guard, an important part of this procession, for reasons of tradition, and then the Royal Company of Archers, with their magnificent eagle feathers. The King's bodyguard in Scotland. Deeply poignant moment in this procession as Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II approaches Buckingham Palace for the last time. Skyline looking glorious in the background, and here we have what is for the late Queen a last glimpse of that famous balcony where she appeared on so many occasions, where she stood with her father and mother, King and Queen, at the end of the Second World War, cheered on by the vast crowds who were in the area we can see today. Rich. Very poignant moment for them because members of the Queen's household, including our private secretary, part of this procession, now passing Buckingham Palace, their place of work, of course, along with Windsor and other royal residences, but Buckingham Palace was always the office. And here we have the staff of the palace. A great line of them. Memorable jubilees during the reign. We look at that balcony and all the delight and joy and celebration of those times. Memories, of course, shared by the royal family and all of the royal household in today's procession, and millions watching, wherever they're watching around the world, will remember those occasions with equal joy. To the events of 70 years ago, when George VI was taking procession from Westminster Hall to Paddington Station. There was no service at Westminster Abbey. The service in full was at St George's Chapel, Windsor. He King George make a journey from London to Windsor by train, on the Royal train. But arrangements this time are different, and the decision was made to take the Queen from London to Windsor by road in the State House. Procession passing just on the left there, the great gardens of Buckingham Palace, where so many of those garden parties took place over the years, thousands of them. So many people being delighted to be asked, just once in most cases, to enjoy the gardens, and indeed, if they were fortunate, to have a few words with Her Majesty during the garden party itself. And then on the other side we have Green Park.
Kan was run yellow we kan nuya.
Punctuated with sounds of the King's Troop Royal Horse Artillery firing their long gun salute. And they've been based principally at Hyde Park for this firing today during this procession. Hyde Park. There are two guns also being fired at Hyde Park Corner, dismounted guns, as part of this last formal section of this procession today in London, before a separate procession takes place at Windsor later on.
Cathedral Garden screen and here. Kahit chuan kan tam le mo solo si media lo se eta hian
Magnificent view of Wellington Arch, with the greenery in this busy part of London.
Lehi National Football Museum, Kanya
Final ceremony.
Football Museum, Cathedral Garden.
Eric will be taken onto the arch, and from there the transfer to the State House will take place.
Bye bye,